that's tuning in right now, I'm happy to welcome Playhouse to the Talking the Fast Lane show. RFL Entertainment, obviously, in the brand new EP that hits tomorrow. That's Playhouse's Broken in the Dam that you can see pictured right up here, this side. But I have Playhouse, and the guys are here to join me, along with Dangerous Doug, the partner in crime, Mr. RFL, along with myself. So, hey, guys, let's get
Yeah,
started with this interview. How are you tonight?
Very
fantastic.
good.
Good. How
Doing
you guys
great. Thank you. How about you guys?
Excellent. I'll tell you what, it's really a pleasure to finally speak to all you guys. I mean, obviously Danny and Pete, we talk to you guys on a regular, you've been on the live shows, but I want to bring in the other guys. I mean, KK and Eric. I mean, I think that's really cool to have you guys on the show. So welcome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you very
thanks for
much.
having
Thanks
us.
for having us, man.
So guys, let's get right into this. Obviously broken and the damned. We bring it out tomorrow on RFL Entertainment. We're really excited about it, and another opportunity to work with you guys. And this new EP, and listening through it, like we've been listening to it for months. Luckily, we've had the chance to absorb it, a good bit and blast it in the speakers in our vehicles and in the headphones and everything else. But the one thing that I really love about this is the fact that, looking at, Dancing with Funerals, which we released in 2022, it seemed like it was, yesterday, but I mean, 3 years now we're going on. What I like about this is you hear a maturity in the band going from album to EP. You guys put a lot of effort into this, and you hear so many different phases of this band. And I think that's what I love so much about Playhouse and what you do is the fact that it's diverse. It's not just, hey, one song and it just kind of glides into the other one. You guys put a lot of thought, a lot of effort, into these songs and everything that you do. So let's start with this. Let's talk about this album, this EP, and some of the songs. Like, what do the fans have to look forward to, from you guys and your perspective on this EP?
Good question. We're all stumped.
Stumped.
Well, I think they're looking to
hard.
see us play after the winter, So for starters, to get a gig under our belt after the winter, we take off. That was,
Right. I mean, with the the Dancing with Funerals obviously coming out in 2022, the fans were, anxious to see new material from you guys. And I think that that's where they're going to be not only pleasantly surprised at this, but pleasantly happy with the way this came out. I mean, it's five songs, which, 5 songs you look at as an EP, but this is 5 excellent songs, start to finish. So let's do this, guys. Let's talk about the opening track, Black Clouds. Obviously we had the video out. Let's go to Pete on this one. Pete, tell us about this song and give us a little background on it, and then the other guys can chime in and give their perspective about it.
Well, the first thing is when we were making this record, Danny kept on saying the word to me, organic. He says, the next record has to be organic. And I think what you're hearing is truly the 5 of us amalgamated together. So Black Clouds was, the spark of Black Clouds was chorus I had, and I brought it to the band and our producer Kevin, and everyone poured a lot of gasoline on it, and everyone really came to the party, and we built this wonderful melodic song organically in our rehearsal room, which is something we probably haven't done since the early 90s, because dancing was written in a different way, and especially the rock and roll circles was really written in a very unique way. So yeah, that's how the song came together, organically and together in a room.
Danny, how about your take on it, Danny? I mean, Pete, obviously, I mean, brought in a lot of perspective on that. And that song, like you said, the organic piece of it, and how that came together. I love the way that song flows because I think it's a great opener for an album. And I think what it does is it gives you, as a listener, as a fan, a piece to where you launch. You know what to expect now. That gets your groove on right there to start. What do we have next? And that's what I love about that song.
Did you guys actually hear what I just said?
Yeah, but it
Oh.
was a little muffled, but I understood what you were
No,
saying.
because I lost total volume. So
But you sound better now.
It'll come across. We could edit that. It'll come across.
And
Like
yeah,
it.
John, I mean, as far as what Pete said, definitely this album compared to previous records there was a lot more work in the jam room, and the five of us in a room hammering out the direction, the feel, the tempo, the groove, and sure, in studio you're always adding stuff and changing, but a lot of dancing was actually built in studio, and this one was more, as Pete said, organic and a little more focused too. Being an EP compared to dancing, where you can kind of branch out and do something like Champagne or a ballad like Hate You. It's a bit hard to go in that direction when you're only doing 5 songs, so you want to keep them a little more close knit, I guess you can say, for lack of a better term.
For sure.
And we had Broken in the Dam, and not to get ahead, I know you want to go through it with the songs, but there was a couple of tracks that were recorded previously. So when we started working on the rest, it was kind of like, okay, we got these two in the can. So which three are going to kind of complement these two, And then we had like a few different options to pick, and I think we picked three that blended well with the two that we had, and well, it made this. It is what it is, and it's been in the can a while. Like you said, you've been listening to it for a few months. It's been in the can longer than P Diddy, and now it's time to get out.
Hopefully, it doesn't remain that long.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
That's
release
the...
tomorrow.
All right, let's go with
Can't wait to see what people think about it.
let's go with KK. How about you, KK? What's your take on that? Let's go with your take on Black Clouds first, and then
Look,
we'll get through.
I mean, Pete and Danny just hit on it perfectly. I mean, at the end of the day, I really didn't have much to do with the initial rooting of this song, but eventually, when it came about, we all kind of put our salt and pepper on it. But at the end of the day, this was really something that was originating from Pete and Danny, So this was a group effort at the end of the day to put it all together, find details. But yeah, there wasn't really much for me to collaborate more than what it was initially. It was just pretty much what we put together all together at the end. But it was Danny and Pete who really brought forward the tune. So we just Eric and I put our as Eric likes to say, salt and pepper on it. I mean, whatever they said is what they said. I think it's all pretty good,
That's right, and I told Eric right in the beginning, when we were talking, backstage here, was the fact that the guitar work on this is incredible. I mean, and listening to it, and that says a lot about you guys. I mean, this band, getting to know you guys. I mean, when Doug introduced me the first time, and it's gone on from there. I mean, it's been, a great journey, and I got to understand you guys, as musicians as well, and listening and just say, man, this band, really takes it and you guys are passionate about it. And I think that's what one of the things that I love most about what Playhouse does. And I think that says a lot to, not only the stability of the band, but how well you guys work together and feed off of each other after all these years. That's really cool to see a band that's stuck together like that. That means a lot.
Oh, after a 17-year smoke break, yeah,
Yeah.
we still, we came back together like the glue that never really separated in the first place. And like organically speaking, we did this particular EP kind of like we did things in the old days by just doing more at the jam room and getting a feel for it there, as opposed to the last record where we did a lot more of it in the studio, where there was a lot more of Kevin involved, our producer, Kevin Jardine. And, I prefer it this way. It's more real to us, I think, because really in the beginning, up until now, it's kind of like going back to our roots, really. We just did it exactly the way we did stuff back in the day. It was organic, for sure, organic. Like I said, not so much in the studio, but it's more, we basically came to Kevin with with more work done on our end, I guess, if I could put it correctly there.
That makes sense.
And at the end of the
Right.
day, I sprinkle my dust all over it there. And, it depends. Like, I mean, I bring plenty of song ideas to the band, but a lot of the times they're a bit heavy or the band's doesn't necessarily agree on some of the stuff. So that's okay. I'll do that on the side. But I keep throwing more stuff at them. And basically, everybody has their ideas, and whatever we decide as a band is what gets on the record, EP, or whatever. And most particularly this EP, we really just pushed for songs like Danny had said that sort of organically fit together, not just because I think at the end of the day it also comes down to that approach also gives these songs their
Agree.
individuality from each other. So you know what I mean?
Agree.
So
Agree.
That's exactly, to me, what a fan feedback I get is Playhouse is special because the songwriting and each song does not sound the same. They've got their own vibe. Each song has its own life.
Agree.
You guys know, to this day, Dancing at Funerals is still one of my top albums I've ever heard in my life, and that's
It's a
not
great
just sitting
album.
here and kiss anybody's
hey,
ass.
thank you
That's
so much,
real.
Doug, man.
That is a great album.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Douggo, what I wanted to ask you, we're talking about this, obviously this EP and everything. And, you're really tight with this band, obviously, and the sound and everything. So rather than we talk about every single song, let's talk about one of your favorite songs. And I'm going to let you take that from here, and then we'll build off of some of that here, because I look at this and I have a favorite, obviously, that we haven't discussed yet, but let's do that now, Douggo. What's one of the songs that's your favorite, and then let's have the guys speak to it.
Well, first of all, my short answer is it keeps changing as far as which is my favorite. It reminds me of a certain album that came out in 22 that I couldn't pick one favorite song. Promises sticks out in my head when I think of this album, which you guys are gonna, by the time you guys see this interview, all our wonderful friends out there watching, this song is going to be all over the place tomorrow. So I'm not going to say too much about it. You got to figure it out. If you haven't been listening to Wild Dogs and hear it, the advanced spin, you got to wait. You're going to love it.
And you'll get to see it too.
Yes. And the video. Love the video, guys.
Thank you.
So guys, let's talk about that. I mean, Doug just brought it up, and obviously the second single from this release will be Promises, which will debut tomorrow, February 14th, along with Broken in the Dam. So make sure you get out there, get this, listen to it, pick it up everywhere you stream. This is a great album. It's a great listen. And let's get into Promises, guys, because I think one thing that I love that stands out with this, it comes from the video perspective, and it's you guys in the rehearsal studio doing your thing. It's very, like Pete said, and Danny said in the beginning, organic. This is you guys doing what you do, and things that the fans don't have a chance to really experience. So let's go with that right now. Tell us, guys, and I'll go with Danny on this one to start out. Tell us about Promises and how that video and that song came together.
Well, the song that was another one Pete brought in. I think it was the chorus, or was it the verse, Pete?
The chorus.
It was the chorus, and then we built it up from there. We were jamming it, and then we added the chords, the verse, the guitar hook KK added, and then it was too slow. It sounded a bit originally. I was comparing it to like Hysteria by Def Leppard. It almost had a bit of that kind of vibe for me, anyways. And then Pete, like he says with every song, let's speed it up. But this time we actually did. And then we sped it up some more, I think. And, I think I know KK and Pete still think it's a bit slow, that it could have been a little faster.
It still needs a few more beats per minute, I think.
Yeah. To each his own, I guess. It is what it is.
Hey, that's for a future release. You speed it up a little bit and reissue it. It's
up tempo at least. Before it was almost like a semi ballad. And then that whole breakdown in the middle, for us, it's actually a pretty long song compared to what we've done. If you look at Dancing at Funerals, I don't think there's anything over 4 minutes except for maybe Home, which is a ballad. But everything's usually like 3.5 minutes, and this one clocks in a little over 4. And that's probably due to that middle part, that whole breakdown. And that came about by just jamming it. And then, we were just kind of feeling it out, and then we left it there. And we debated about that also, of just kind of like, well, hey, is this too long? But it felt right. It sounded right. It felt right. So we just left it as is. We threw out our rule book, so to speak, and did something a little bit different for us anyways, or what we have done recently. Kind of like I Don't Need You, it's very long, and I guess kind of what you guys were saying earlier, of all of our songs, we try to treat them as an individual thing. And then once we've done that, it's like, let's move on and do something else. So yeah, I guess that pretty much sums it up for me.
I think it turned out perfect.
Thank you.
It's a great song.
Final mix is just, to me, that song has a lot of nice changes in it and stuff. I'm hooked.
Yeah,
it doesn't it? That's the key. Well, guys, with this, I also wanted to bring in. I wanted to mention Sam, obviously, on drums. This is his first album with you guys, correct?
Yep.
And this guy is, somewhat of a drumming idol out there in Canada, if you want to say that. I know, he's done a lot of good things, and I think he fits perfectly in this band. You can tell that you guys have that relationship, and he brings that, that back piece in there, obviously with you, Danny, that wall of rhythm, sound, the backbeat, everything that you guys do together. I think he brought a bigger sound out of that piece, at least in my ears anyway.
Well, Sam's amazing.
Yeah. Well, Sam and I played together for the first time in high school. We went to high school together, and that's where I met him. And he was just as talented back then as a 14-year-old. He was a bit of a prodigy on drums.
He was in our band before in the past for a little while. He was just a kid then too. I mean, we even did a gig with him one night where he was in another band. And so when we finished our set, grabbed his jacket, ran down about 2 blocks down the street, got on stage, played a set with them, put his jacket back on, ran back up the street to play us. So we did 3 sets of 45 minutes. I mean, by the end of the night, man, just a testament to that guy, like it's insanity, super amazing guy, great drummer. And yeah, he is a bit of a phenomenon in his own right here in in Canada, and yeah, he's we're glad to have him. He really, that's it. I don't want to settle on anybody else. Like Sam's a keeper, you know. So there, I said it.
He's a great
Playing
fit.
with him, I mean, it's like putting on an old pair of jeans or something, or it just fits right,
Yeah, that old glove, you know.
Yeah,
Fits
Yeah, it's
perfectly.
already molded to your hand, you know.
exactly.
Guys, and looking at this EP, I mean, I looked down the track list, and one of my favorite songs is The Ones That Don't Belong. And I mentioned that in the chat, a couple weeks ago. So I want to go to the guitar players here and talk to you guys about this. Let you guys talk about this song. Give us a little bit of backstory on this one, because I think that, obviously it stands out to me because when I listen through, like I said, you guys bring so much diversity to the music. I mean, it's 5 songs, but like Danny mentioned earlier, it's 5 different songs, and you put a lot of credence in the fact that, hey, they're separate, and they flow so nicely in this, even though they are different. So I'm going to go to Eric and KK. Tell us about The Ones That Don't Belong. From your side of it as guitar players.
Well, for me, um, this one around, this song, every once in a while we have a discussion about the guitar solo where it's not necessarily has to be a barrage of notes and me flying all over the neck. And this was something that was discussed as opposed to, I think, in some previous recordings, I had surprised the band once. I forget what song it was that I had an idea of a much slower solo as compared to what they wanted. But for this one was, the idea was brought to me. And so it was kind of, I think a lot of Kevin, our producer, had a lot to do with this. I would think, I mean, the song essentially was another Pete and Danny special. So I basically just brought my parts of the song. I like it because it's dark sounding, and I really, I have a thing for that kind of music, or songs, I should say. And so the guitar solo of this one for me, it's nice to have a little break on stage and do something that's just easy,
Right?
and
Yeah.
yeah, and I can just rock it out. And I like the song for that. It's kind of a nice break. I don't have to always fly all over the neck, it's nice to do so, and I think it worked for the song in general. I think that was the correct way to go for it, and so good choice on Kevin, and and of course Pete and Danny and KK with all their effort. Again, another little organic piece from us, I guess. You next, KK. You got the mic.
Just the same thing. I mean, just basically, again, I mean, just making sure that everybody's in agreement with what's going on, and just to rehash things over, and making sure that everybody is okay and happy with what's going on, and making sure that the direction was the correct direction, and the salt and pepper that was put onto it was good, and again, there was not much more to be done because it was pretty much already established. Kevin had a lot to do with the riffing on this one, but again, I mean, it was just more of a kind of a observe, listen, try something. Do we agree? Do we not agree? Should we try this? Should we try that? Should we do this before this, do that after that? And then kind of like just, say, okay, well, let's try this and try that and try this. And at the end of the day, it just comes all together. And then we just kind of have a final say and say, okay, well, yeah, this is good. Let's do it this way. And pretty much this is how all 5 songs were done. So there's not much more.
We focused a lot on the rhythm on this one. Yeah, a lot of rhythm, and
Yeah.
lots of rhythm for this song.
But a lot of it was more of just figuring out the parts and making sure that everything was matched properly, and it blended, and it just worked out. Or the orchestration was, that's where I would come in a lot, and and bring my 2 cents in and say, more about the orchestration. Well, I don't like it this way. Let's try it here, and let's do this, after this
Yeah,
part.
exactly.
And it was just pretty much like that.
As a little side note, the piano and
Yeah,
strings that
sorry.
you hear.
I'm moving
Oh,
into
sorry,
it.
Kate. No, I was just going to
Yeah,
say a
sorry,
little
man. Go ahead.
tidbit is the piano and string section that you hear on the record is actually from the original demo, and it was played on an iPhone. So,
That's pretty cool.
Really?
That's pretty cool.
so and that Kevin lifted it and threw it on there. So
That's
No,
cool
nice.
story about that song. Doug,
I think it was even like it's like an iPhone 6. It's not even a very good iPhone.
that's the old school, man. That's it.
Yeah.
He did a nice job with that. I'll tell you what, bringing
Yeah,
that sound out. It really does. Doug, let me ask you this question.
Yes, sir.
I've never heard Playhouse before, and I'm going to listen to this EP. Give me your story on what I'm going to get here in a nutshell.
You are going to get 5 songs, and this is just what Playhouse does. You're going to get 5 songs that somehow they manage to blend perfectly together, but each one is so much different from each other. There's nothing on here that sounds to me even similar in the layout of these songs. That's why you listen to it and you're thinking, man, I got a lot more music in this 5 songs than you'd even believe.
That's right. That's, I think that will be the consensus when the fans get to hear this tomorrow. They get to, get it in their headphones, and have it sit with them for a while. I think they're gonna, just like Doug and I, we have different songs that we like, as a favorite one day and different songs the other, and some
Changes.
stand out, and it's crazy. And you know what? We talked about this a little bit before, but let's talk about the history of this band and how you guys got started. I mean, when I look at, I remember asking Pete in the chat that one day, give me some backstory, and he said we've been together for 37 years. And I think that when you hear a band that's been together for 37 years, you know that there is some closeness there. There's a lot of bonds. There's a lot of, even if there is, differences obviously through a band that sticks together like this,
It's
it doesn't
family.
happen too often. It's family. So let's talk about that. And I'm going to go with Pete on this one to start out. Pete, tell us about how this band got started, so the fans have some background on what Playhouse is about, how you started, and all the way to where it is now.
It all started when I was walking up a street called Draper in NDG, where we're all from, with Danny, and he slipped me this tape. He's like, "You got to listen to this." So I took this tape he gave me. I didn't listen to it, of course. I waited weeks and weeks. So one day I put on this tape and just blew my mind. It was Slippery When Wet from Bon Jovi.
Great album.
So after I heard it, I said, "So what are we going to do from here?" He's like, "Well, we're going to do that." So what happened? I'm going to try to not make this complicated. At that point, Danny was asked to join another band called Euphoria. And while he was doing that, I started Playhouse, but I needed a bass player. So he joined the band with me and KK and a few other guys. We played a couple of shows. Then Danny stole me from Playhouse to be the lead singer of Euphoria. And as soon as I joined Danny's band, me and Danny fired the whole band. And
renamed it Playhouse.
and renamed it Playhouse. And then we brought in Eric. Now, the way we found Eric is a story on its own. We knew Eric from a battle of the bands. We had played with him probably a year and a half earlier, which we lost and he won. But we remembered the guy's name and we looked in the phone book and there was only 2 Westigars in the phone book, and lucky enough we found Eric. He joined the band. We played one show with the 4 of us, and then
Station
we
10.
realized we needed KK back in the band. So KK came back into the band, and this all happened over a 4-month period. This wasn't years. This was like, you know how
Yeah.
things are when you're teenagers. Things happen quickly.
That's right.
And by the fall of '87, the classic lineup was together, and that was Playhouse. And we literally recorded our first EP that spring or fall. I don't remember when, but yeah, it came out literally 6 months after that lineup was together, and it's been the same core. The 4 of us have been together the whole time, and we've had different drummers, but Sam has been in the band over time for a couple of years, and now he's back. So that's
Great
it, right,
story.
guys?
That's pretty much it. Yeah, I think so.
I only
That's a
know
great-
that story now because Danny has explained it to me at least 10 times in the last 10 years. Because I kept on saying it wrong. He's like, dude, this is how it actually happened.
That's what you got to
But it's
do
like,
with
if you
singers,
read
huh,
a
Danny?
book,
Well, that's
the
kind of
story
the
actually all begins with a bottle of whiskey and Danny's father. Is it a bottle of whiskey?
what?
I said the story where it all began really is with the
Oh
bottle of whiskey
no,
and
it
you
was
getting
a
grounded or
can of
whatever.
beer. It was a can of beer when I
It was a
got.
can of beer.
Well, if it's
Yeah.
Canada, it's got to be beer.
Yeah. Well,
Damn
yeah,
right.
That's the good stuff, man.
I got busted at the Metro.
Labatt Blue.
For you Americans, it's a Subway.
Yeah.
I
Subway.
like
that's
the
it.
Labatt.
And
Good
I was
choice.
going to a party, but then the cops sent me home. I had to because I was underage. And then when I got home, my dad said, "What'd you do?" I told him. He's like, "Okay, what'd you learn?" I was, "I don't know." Yeah. He's like, "Well, fucking keep your beer in a bag, you idiot." And then he's like, "Where are you going? Where were you going?" I said, "I was going to a party." He said, "Okay, well, have a good time." My mom was like, "What? You're letting him go?" I just bolted as quick as I could before my
Yeah,
mom
after he
said
said that,
goodbye.
yeah.
And then that's when I bumped into Pete, who I hadn't seen in a few years. And then, he told me he was singing and whatever. And I told him I was playing bass. And then he told me there was like a metal band I should join, which was KK. He had a band with his brother, Albatross. And this other guy, Mitch. And my first band was with those guys, a few jams. And then I joined Pete's band, Future. And that's the band that we saw Eric playing in the park. So yeah, it's all very incestuous.
This
It is,
sounds
'cause the first time
very very Spinal Tap right here.
It
Yeah.
First
does.
time I ever
Absolutely.
met
It
KK.
does.
First time I ever met KK.
Was in
I
high
used to
school.
be best friends with
It was in
KK's
high
brother.
school at West Hill High School.
At Westkill. There's a little park, and he walks up to me, and he's like, "I'm the best. I'm the best guitarist. Stop looking. I'm your guy. I'm the best." That was enough for me.
That's cool.
Yeah. Look, my aunt goes to 11.
Huh?
Was that for Playhouse or Future?
It was just the first time I met him.
Oh, okay.
KK. That was
Hey, a guy
Yeah.
that can
Classic
stand behind his
KK,
chops,
you know?
man, is
Right.
is all right, man. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, it's happening.
So then we became the new originals.
Right.
Yeah.
But we're all from NDG, which is a suburb in Montreal.
Okay, so somebody, I know I'm going to take a little side note right here. Tell us about NDG. You guys have always bringing it up. What is it about it that's is it like an artsy kind of district or?
Not
Well,
really.
it's called either.
Just,
Go ahead,
I'll
Pete.
let someone else explain what NDG is.
It's just the suburb of
It's
Montreal.
Notre Dame
and
of grass, really.
It's like saying you come from the Bronx, or something like that.
No damn good.
You know?
Compared to the Bronx, that's the way to do it, man.
Yeah, it's a cool place. You know, it's a lot of freaks, let's just say, come from NDG. Look at us.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's like cheap housing and there's $1 million houses, so
That sounds like my kind of suburb.
That's a
it's
Yeah,
good
yeah.
suburb.
Keep
It's
in
a mel-
mind, me and Danny have been friends. When I met Danny, he was probably 6.5 and I was 7.
yeah.
And we met in 2nd grade.
That's
No,
amazing.
kindergarten, man. The first time was
Oh
kindergarten.
yeah, kindergarten.
That's crazy.
And our bond together was Grease.
That's
He
right.
was
Great.
Danny Zuko and I was Kaneki.
That's it, man.
A
Oh,
grease
man.
tie-in. There we go.
That's it. Grease lightning. The
I
thing
met
with
Dominic,
NDG, I think, is I mean, if you know Quebec, right? It's the French province, the only one in North America, and NDG, especially back then, NDG was like this with Westmount, which is like the rich neighborhood right next to
No damn good.
to NDG. You essentially got like if Montreal, you got the downtown, which is the center of the city, and the East End is like very French, and the West End is where it's more English or bilingual. So that's a bit kind of the difference with NDG is it was unique in the sense that it was French, it was English, it was rich, it was poor, and everything in between.
That sounds cool. Can't wait to see it.
A lot of parks to get drunk in.
Come down, man.
You know what's cool? We
Come in
talked
the
about
summer, Doug. Don't come now, man. We got like 40
yeah,
centimeters. No.
No. I'm talking about when is the best time to.
Summertime.
July, August.
Summertime. Summer,
June,
fall
July,
time too.
August,
Fall is
September.
nice. Fall is nice here with all the changing of the leaves and stuff, especially on Mount Royal downtown.
That's
It's nice.
That'd be nice to see that.
July, August,
Yeah.
barbecue season.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's a
barbecue
given right
all year
there.
long. It's always barbecue season for me, guys.
Well, yeah,
That's
well, no.
100%. Probably
Well,
gonna
that's
be
where we
making
need to meet
burgers
then.
tomorrow. Yeah,
Guys, we
yeah.
talked
I was
about
gonna go out today, but the damn snow got in the way. So,
yeah, you can't do that in 30 inches of snow, man.
no.
There's a we talked about the background of the band, the formation right there, and I wanted to tie this into the Promises video, obviously that has some clips, of you guys, pictures of you guys back when you started, and some of those early days. Tell us about that and how that fits into that video piece for you guys.
That's you, Danny. That's your baby.
Well, I honestly, it was the initial idea was just kind of, what video you got your A footage, your B footage. So the A footage was going to be what it was, which is us in the jam room, and then what else can we do? And we had discussed doing something like that for a video for "I Don't Need You" that we had never made, and I just thought it'd be cool to show that, and it was just something we had, right? So it wasn't okay. Now we got to go out and film some other stuff, and we're not actors, and we could have made a storyline or whatever it is, but again, it's just this was, hey, we got something. It's cool. It'll fit, even though I know lyrically it's not about us. It's about one of Pete's ex-girlfriends, I guess, or whatever it is.
Oh, Pete.
But to a certain extent, it's if it is about that, it's about relationships, and like you guys alluded to, we've been together like a very, very long time. So at some, in some way, I guess there's some sort of promise in that sense amongst us, or an unwritten or unsaid. There's a history there, so showing it kind of, I think, fit in a long kind of roundabout way.
When fans, hearing this and obviously listening to you guys, especially for a long period of time, or even the new fans, I'll understand that this band is a blue collar band. Like, you guys don't have anybody that, any prima donnas or showboats or anything. And I think that comes across in the style of the music and how tight the band is and how good these songs really are. Because, it's easy if you're a music listener like Doug and I. I mean, we live and breathe this, and we get to talk to the artists and and things like that. And we know, and I know, at least from my perspective, I could tell who's, this way, who's really grounded. And Playhouse is a band that's grounded. And that's the reason that you guys have been together for so long. And that's the reason why, these songs, they're going to stand the test of time, guys. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think that this is a music style that you guys do that fits a lot of different genres, from the pop side, to the hard rock side, to, the classic side. And it's a good fit. And I think that's what fans are going to see when they listen to this.
If you
And
don't mind me interjecting there,
no,
in my mind, we've always written the same since day one. Like,
Pretty
yeah, the
much.
songs that got it are different. Some of them are better. We've matured, but the core formula has always been the same since '87. I could be wrong, but I feel that's what it is, and that's due to 5 different individual tastes. So you're literally getting that blended together, and it's always been that way. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion.
no, we can definitely hear it. I mean, that's a great take, Pete. For people that haven't heard Playhouse, and being able to listen to this interview and some of the backstories that you guys, gave us tonight, I think it's a good look into the band while they have a chance to listen to this new EP, and then eventually get into the back catalog and some of the things you guys did in the past. Guys, I wanted to bring this up next. Broken and the Damned, obviously tomorrow, February 14th, RFL Entertainment. Get it everywhere, anywhere you stream, anywhere you listen to music. Look for the video. Promises is going to debut tomorrow. We've been talking about that tonight. Great song, and 5 great songs here. I mean, this is an EP, but it's an album. If you're a true music fan, I think that's where people are going to see this. The next thing I want to bring up, guys, is you know, for the fans. And I want each and every one of you, just like Doug did earlier, to tell the fans what they're going to hear from this EP. And I'll start. I'm going to start with Eric on this one. And Eric, I wanted to start. Listening to the guitar work on this, like I said, is one of the things that stands out to me. I mean, I think you guys did one hell of a job, and I'm blown away just listening, to the solos and stuff. I'm like, man, let me listen to that again. And I go through this continuously with this album. So let's go with you, Eric. Tell us about the about this EP and what it's going to bring to the fans from a Playhouse perspective.
Well, um, a lot of the times, for solos and stuff like that, the expectations from the band, especially when I walk into the studio at Kevin's there, um, you know, a lot of the times, like basically they just wait with bated breath, and I just show up with stuff. So, um, you know, some songs have been on, especially with this CP, have been not exactly that approach, but almost. But I think for me, honestly, I'm a little bit more tame in certain ways for this. But a bit more real. Like it's not so planned. I think is what I'm trying to get at. Is I had for like structures for the solos and everything done, and a lot of guitar parts, but with Kevin's encouragement and the guys as well, there was a lot of let's just kind of do it on the fly at the studio, a little bit, let's just see. So I tried to come up with more than one idea for each song, and but yeah, I always try to put a lot of guitar into whatever recording we do. It's just my thing. I like to do that a lot, and I know it drives the guys crazy sometimes because I overdo it, but at the I'm just glad to be able to play what I'm playing, and I practice a lot. Especially now that I'm off of work for the winter, I'm going to be doing a whole lot of that, driving my neighbors nuts.
It's a good
So
thing.
you know. And but yeah, you know, I think it's something that's going to be exciting for everybody. You know, it's typical Playhouse fashion, and I just try to do my best and whip up and down that fretboard as best I can, you know, the songs too also reflect very heavily on what exactly how I'm going to write it. So yeah, as an individual recordings, each song, I try to stay away from always repeating myself. I do a little bit, but I think the fans are going to enjoy it. I think there's a lot of guitar stuff on there that's going to keep everybody listening. I think for sure. Yeah.
They'll be listening. KK, how about you? I know, listening to these, like I said, and what you guys did together, it's not just the solos even, it's the rhythm, and how good it sounds and how chunky this album sounds. I mean, that's the best way that I could put it.
Yep.
I love the way it drives, and that this band just sounds great on this. So how about you, KK? What do the fans have to look forward to here when they listen to Broken and the Damned?
Well, they're going to hear 5 great mature songs that have really, how can I say it? I mean, it's just, it's a, it's a good, just think of it like everybody's personality put together in each song, which is actually creating all the uniqueness and, putting it all together so that it becomes Playhouse. I mean, we've come a long way. I mean, they're all so different, but yet very similar, because when you listen to the nitty-gritty of each player's parts, then you can really get to, you can pretty much get to understand the DNA of the band, because Eric is he's probably the heaviest in the sense of music styles. He listens to a little bit more of the heavier stuff than most of us, even though we do collectively do listen to it periodically. But at the end of the day, everybody has got a certain background that together it really makes something unique, because Eric's playing is not like, if you were to hear him play alone in the sense of what drives what he likes, it will never come to fruition with Playhouse alone as it is, because it's just not Playhouse. So, I mean, a lot of times, when he comes up with some parts as, the other guitar player in the band, I'll kind of try to tame him in a way to just, just to bring it down to where it'll work with the band, and, try to have the parts to be a little bit more, even though he has a lot of great melodic solos, and parts, I'll tend to be the one that gives them a little bit more guidance in the sense of orchestrating things. So, not all the time, sometimes, that will work with the song, and, we feed off of each other. So, because,
100%.
it just kind of comes together in a more of a respectful way within each other, because, we understand each other pretty much better than anybody else in the band together. Like Danny and Pete, they understand each other probably better. Everybody's got their own sort of, comfort zone with each other. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, everybody has got their own thing, but we always try to bring it together so that we keep it Playhouse. We don't want to create something way, you know, off on a tangent that is not Playhouse. I mean, for myself, I come from the school of Malcolm Young, Angus Young. Okay, like I tend to keep things very simple. I like my parts to be simple because I have the philosophy that less is more, and you know, I've always emphasized on, you know, more of that percussive, you know, chunky rhythm, something that is a little bit more put together that will work with what we need, you know. And Danny and I, you know, we over the years have created this understanding with each other where
Right.
we know what really is needed, and it's like sometimes you don't even have to say it. We just look at each other and we know, you know, and it just comes together. It's just rhythmically we put what we need to put in and it just works, you know. And it's all about just making the song work for what we do know of the style of what we are. We're not trying to recreate anything, but we're always just trying to create new, but digging into the old, you know. And like it's just an orchestration of all of our influences brought to the table, which just together, you know, putting all of the flavors together and making it Playhouse, really. And that's the beauty of it all, you know. And over the years, we've gotten to, you know, understand each other so clearly that it just happens naturally and organically. And, you know, that's pretty much it. So it is it's a great thing, you know. It's a great thing. And it's like there's nobody else, and this is actually, you know, a true thing. I mean, like I haven't played, you know, since Playhouse was put together. I've had my opportunities to be going out and about to doing things with other bands, but I never had any no zest for it, you know, because like I just I feel at home with the band, you know.
Yeah, that's your comfort
Right.
zone.
Yeah,
That's
you
it.
get that fit. That's a good thing. I
Yeah.
mean, and having
And
that
it's sure,
chemistry again.
and for the listener, you guys, whatever your formula is, I wouldn't give away all your secrets. It works, and you guys do it amazingly.
Well,
And
there's
Thank
no
you, Doug.
secret.
Thank you.
It's just all these years of, you know, just
yeah,
knowing each other and knowing what works.
and
You know?
37 years is the testament to it. I
Yep,
agree.
there you go.
1,000%.
Yeah.
All right, Pete. I'm going to go to Pete right now. One word answer to this one. Broken in the damn Playhouse. What do we get?
Hook after hook after hook after hook.
Danny, how about you? One word answer. Playhouse. Broken in the dam.
One word. No,
It could build a little bit like Pete. One word out of the box.
right. Yeah. No, I think you're getting a nice mix of 5 tracks that, you know, kind of like what you guys were saying. They go together, but they're different. So they're distinct, but they work together. And like Pete said, hook after hook. I mean, ultimately, we pursue a song if there's a melody and a hook. If there's no melody and there's no hook, there's no song, and we don't pursue it. You know, we're not sitting around. We might play something jam waiting for Pete to come up with a hook, but if 20 minutes go by and he doesn't have one, then we're moving on to something else. Whereas, you know, if I don't have a bass line but there's a hook, well, I'll figure that one out later if need be, right? But
Right,
the song
right.
is going to go on because there's a hook.
Right.
And then from there, that's where we build out the music or whatever it is. So, you know, a lot of bands, I think it's like, oh, that's a cool guitar riff, but the melody sucks, but they still pursue it because it's a cool guitar riff. And then, okay, but it's not a good song. It's a cool guitar riff. Whereas with us, it's no, there's got to be a song in there somewhere, and a song is a melody and a hook, more than anything else. Everything else is a complementary to that, right? You
That's
don't
right.
have a meal if you don't have a protein, you know, unless
That's right.
you're a vegan. So
That's it. Well, everybody remembers the hook. That's the thing.
so you know that's what it is, right? And like KK and Eric mentioned, you know, the salt and the pepper. So you know, you need your sides and all of that stuff, but fundamentally, you know, there's got to be meat in that burger. And
There's no doubt about it.
that's the hook, and that's the lyric, the melody, the whatever, you know. So that's my one word answer for you, John.
That's a good
That's a
answer,
lot for
man.
one word.
Yeah,
That was a
It's a
that was a big word.
I know. Right?
well, we put some
Not a
steroids
big
into
word
that
for
answer. That's
marmalade.
all.
Yeah.
Little steroids into it.
So
Duggo,
yeah, so that's what you're getting. Broken in the Dam, 5 tracks. Play it loud.
play it hard, play it fast. Duggo, in closing here, give me your one word or steroid answer on Broken to the Damned.
Okay. I'm gonna keep it simple. I guess mine would be 3 words. It is a musical journey.
That's perfectly well put.
And it's just like it's like a maybe an abbreviated version of Dancing at Funerals, because it's same thing you and I and Danny and Pete have talked about. It's every emotion a human has is in Playhouse's music.
There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And guys, in closing, first I want to say to the fans, everybody that's listening in will have a chance to listen to this interview and hear what these guys had to say. Is you know, Playhouse Broken and the Damned. I want to say it's a fantastic album, and from my heart, and I know Doug speaks the same, is we are thrilled to have a chance again to work with these guys. Not only for the fact that, you know, we get a chance to share this great music, but the relationships, you know, and that's what I hold closest to my heart. And everything that I do with RFL, talking to Fast Lane, rocking the Fast Lane, was a fact to, you know, to be able to share those experiences with these great musicians, you know, and knowing what these guys do year after year after year to give us what I perceive as the greatest art form in the history of man, and that's music.
Yep.
And guys, I want to say thank you, you know, from my heart for doing what you do and for making that commitment and that sacrifice. 37 years and bringing this stuff to us, man. It means the world, because like I tell everybody, it makes the bad days better and the good days great. So everybody that's listening in, Playhouse, Broken in the Dam, RFL Entertainment, and we're in this to kick your ass, and so are they. This is a great album. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of listen. Guys, I wish you the best on this. You know, we're going to keep pushing it till the end of time. And let's get this done, guys.
Thanks for having us, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much,
Great to
dude.
see you guys.
Thanks,
rock,
John.
man.
Guys,
Thanks, Doug.
thanks for
Thank you so
everything
much.
you do. And
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
We'll
Thanks,
get
guys.
together again soon, guys.
Look
Hopefully.
for it
Yeah.
All right.
tomorrow. Look for
thanks
it tomorrow,
everything.
everybody.
Fun.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Valentine's Day, Playhouse, Broken to the Damned, RFL Entertainment. Look for it everywhere, digital. And the new video for the new single, Promises. Let's not forget that. You're going to see that tomorrow along with this interview. Guys, best of luck again. Have a great night. And everybody, thanks for joining Talking to Fast Lane. And I will see you next week.